Okay. So I hope everyone had a decent idea of what the data looks like and what the data is trying to represent. Okay, so the first step, as we discussed, is connecting with our data. And to connect with the data, before that, we need to first open our Power BI. At my end, I have already opened my Power BI, but let me restart all the steps. So let me close it. Okay. This is a different software. So I'll search for Power BI. You can click on Power BI desktop. It will take some time to open. Yeah. Yeah. You can see it's a pretty heavy software and it takes time to open up. So this prompt initially it will occur. You can just close it. We'll close this as well. Okay. So the first step is to open Power BI to import our data, right? To import, that is to connect with our data. And we can have data with different file formats. It can be SQL, it can be Excel, it can be a web format, any website, right? Maybe it can be some different file which is MP3. A lot of different files are there, or it can be a URL as well. Now to import our data, there are a lot of different ways. First and the foremost is get data. So you just click on the get data. Okay, you can click on the get data. Now it will show all the different types of files. Sorry, the data sources from where you can open your from where you can connect to your data. So first we have Excel workbook, then Power BI datasets, data flows, Dataverse, SQL Server, analysis service, text or CSV, web. Okay, and if you want even more, you can just click on more, and like it's almost more than hundreds of different data sources you can use. You can see. So Zoho is there, the familiar ones, MariaDB. Okay, and then okay, let's see the familiar ones. Amazon, and someone just asked me yesterday about Scala. Even Scala is there, Scala, then Python script, R script, Microsoft Exchange, web. So at one point we are going to use web to do certain analysis to connect with our website. You can see LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It's a beta version. It means it's still under testing. It's not a completed version, so it's under beta. I hope you understand beta. So beta is not a complete finalized version. It means it can have certain errors. It's still under. You can see it's like a construction. It's still under construction. Then Oracle, SQL Server, Access, then PowerPoint, sorry, SharePoint. Okay. Then we'll click on Excel workbook because we want to connect with our Excel workbook. And let's navigate to the file Power BI data. Power BI data. So click on open. So once I click on open, at left hand side, which is our navigator, I can see certain certain names. There are certain fields. Now, any one of you, can you just answer me, or anyone can just try to guess what these files are, or what these names are, what this checkbox mean? Yeah, anyone can try to answer.
I could not able to download that the G file.
Okay.
But still, I can tell this one. I believe these are the names. What is existing in the Excel file?
Perfect. So, if you want, can you be more specific? Names of what? So you mean worksheets, right? Different worksheets.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
So these are all different worksheets. So if we try to check, okay, let's try to understand again. You can see uh, actual Afghanistan April CDs categorization, right? Computer login, CDs, construction. Okay, so dim product categories. If you go ahead, then we have factory internet sales, then HPI admins, right? Now, if I want to work with HPI admins, there are two ways. Either I can just scroll and search for HPI admins, which is here. Okay. So when I click on the name HPI admins, I see the table, right? So these are all different tables. Now, because we have so many files, instead of searching and wasting our time, I can just simply type the name of the file HPI, and then if I want to be more specific, HPI admin. Now there are two different ways to select the data. One is to simply click on the table name, the worksheet name. When I click on the worksheet name, I'll see the data. So it's like a preview. You can see the data in the preview has been truncated. Okay, this is not the point. Preview. So this is preview. It means it's trying to represent how the data looks like. But we don't want preview. We want to select the data, right? If you want to select, you can see at the bottom the load and transform data, both of them, they are grayed out. It means you can't actually select them. The reason being you have not currently selected any data. So to select this file, I need to click on the checkbox. So when I click on the checkbox, now you can see the two buttons, load and transform is activated. Now if I want to work on this data, there are two ways, either transform or load. Now let me tell the major difference between these two files, these two options. So one is load and another one is transform data. So when I say load, what I mean by load is I don't have any issues with my data. My data is perfect. I don't have any corrections. I don't want to do any updates with the data. It means we are good to go. Then I can click on load. And after that, I can start my analysis, creating diagrams, dashboards, reports, or charts. But what if you have some issues with the data? Maybe the data is not correctly formatted. Maybe some rows are missing. You want to handle the missing data. Maybe the columns are not in correct data type. Maybe you want to correct some decimal numbers. You want to reduce the decimal numbers. You can see in our data we have so many null, right? Index SA. The column is completely null, right? We don't need it. So that time when you want to work on the data, you can click on transform. Okay. So this phase you can call as data cleaning or data transformation. It's not or but and, data cleaning and data transformation, because these two steps are completely different. You cannot call it as or, data cleaning and data transformation. For now, we are going to assume that we don't have any issues with the data. Why I'm saying assume is because we have some issues with the data, like null values, right? We have not handled the null values. But for now, just for basic understanding, we are going to assume that, okay, I'm good to go with the data. I'll click on load. Now, when you click on load, it takes a certain amount of time to load the data. Okay, it tries to analyze the data by itself. It tries to create the model. For now, you won't understand what actually model means, but it is trying to understand the data, what the data is trying to represent. Okay, so once you load, on the right hand side, on the most right hand side panel, you can see fields. Right? At some of you might see data, right? Data here, data fields or data or fields. It depends on the version you have currently. So when I click on the fields, it will minimize, and if I click on the fields again, it will maximize. Similarly for the visualization, maximize and minimize. Filters, minimize, maximize. Okay. Maybe some of you have a doubt that suppose in our data, the data what we have loaded right now, maybe by mistake you have loaded and you still feel that, okay, I want to do correction right now, right? Maybe you want to do some transformation or data cleaning. You are not currently satisfied with the data and you still want to do certain work before you start the analysis. So in the home tab, by default already in the home tab, and you can see in between inside the queries ribbon, inside the queries ribbon, there is transform. So it is the same option. If you think, okay, you want to do some corrections, you can click on transform, and then you can make certain corrections. Okay. So we are going to work on transform afterwards. That's the latter part, and it's a bit advanced. So before we go to transform, you need to understand the user interface of the Power BI. Okay. So for now, we have loaded our data, and on the right hand side, you can see HPI admins. Okay. Now let me click on the drop down. Okay. Once I click on the drop down, any one of you, can you tell me what are these fields? Again, we have certain checkbox. So you can just guess and tell me what this field represent. You can see area, date, right? We have seen this already. Yes, anyone? The class has to be interactive. Otherwise, everyone will sleep.
These data are in that Excel sheet. Each column it is there.
Perfect. These are all columns. Area code, date. So these are all the columns. Again, to verify, you can check. Date, region name, area code, average price, index, right? It's the same thing. Date, area, average price, right? 12% change, then yeah, see, region name. So these are all the column headings. Okay. Now in front of you, we have the report page by default. Okay, let me minimize this. The default page is a report page. Now, how do you understand where you are right now by default? On the left hand side, okay, on the left hand side, you can see there is report, right? There is report. So already it's highlighted. It means you are currently already on the report page. Right now, you don't have any report, so you won't see anything. We are going to create our reports. And after report, we have data. Okay, the data. It takes some time to load. Yeah, see. So if you now after certain time you'll load a lot of data, like maybe 10 different worksheets, 10 different worksheets, 20 different worksheets. That time you need to navigate. By default, you have only one data right now, so it is showing you the data what we have imported. Okay. Mind you that we can't make any changes in the data tab. So you are inside the data tab, you can't make any changes. You can see I'm trying to double click, I can't do anything at all, right? I can't do anything. This is just the representation of your data. So if you want to make any changes, it's the same thing I told you at the start. We need to go to transform. This is the transform tab. So if you want to make any changes, we have to go to transform tab. Okay. For now, this is just a representation of your data. It's a view, not even preview, view. Why view? Because you can see all of your data. 1584 rows. And the next one is model. So there are three different tabs: report, data, and then model. Now here, currently we have only one particular table. That's why we can see only one model here. So this is, you can see, a singular model. We don't have any different tables to connect with each other. So for now, model is a bit complex part. We need to understand that afterwards when we are going to work with multiple different tables at the same time, and then we are going to connect them, right? So we'll try to understand them afterwards. So for now, our major focus is going to be on the report page. Why report page? Because on the report page, you can create a lot of different visualizations. So we are going to work with visualizations. So let's go on to the next part. So we opened Power BI data, we imported HPI admins. Okay. So you can see in the file, I have given all the steps, each and every step. And what we are trying to see, I've even mentioned the fields panel, understanding the symbols, okay, search panel. So if I click on the drop down, you can see there are certain symbols, summation symbol, then the date symbol, What this particular symbol represents is that it's a number. You can perform aggregation. What I mean by aggregation is you can perform sum, you can perform average, you can perform the count, right? Or you can perform mean, median, maximum, minimum. So a lot of operations you can perform on this particular column. Now this column you can see is date. So you can perform the date operations on this column. And where there is no symbol, that is text column. It means there is certain text in this particular column. Okay. So select, now we are going to the next step. Select for region name in the fields panel on the right hand side. So what I'm asking there is select the region name. Again, there are two ways to do it. I can you can type region name and then select it, or I can simply search for it. It's your choice. I have to select the checkbox, not just click on it. I have to click on the checkbox. So I'll click on the checkbox. So once I click on the checkbox, you can see in the fields panel, certain table has occurred. It's single column with 6 different rows. Okay, let's go on to the next step. Search for sales volume in the fields panel on the right hand side. Search for sales volume. I'll click on the sales volume. Okay, so now we have 2 columns. Okay, I can use my touchpad to zoom in, zoom out. Okay, so let me zoom in so that you can see my screen. Okay, I'm going to zoom in, and once I zoom in, I can see I have 2 columns, region name and sum of sales volume. Before, what we had was, in our data we had region name, right? Region name, and we had one column. Let me search for it. Sales volume, sales volume, right? We had total 1584 rows. But now when I create a table, I can see there are only 6 different regions. Okay, there are 6 different rows, and then Power BI by default has calculated the sum, like aggregation. Now, how do you analyze this? How do you understand what has happened on the report page? What I need to do is I'll click on the table. Okay, I can even adjust the total area for the table. And when let me minimize the fields panel. I can go to the visualization panel, and if you look closely, one of the option for the diagram has been highlighted. You can see there are plenty different diagrams, but one of them is table, right? The table has been highlighted. It means by default, whenever you select the column names from the fields panel, Power BI is going to create tables for you. Okay, different tables for you. So it has created a table. Now, what if I want to create a diagram, like let's say a column chart or bar chart out of it? So right now table has been highlighted. I'll just click on the bar chart. Okay, mind you that you have to select the table first.
Hello, Ken.
Yeah.
Please, so let me take you back. Will you be able to show me again how you expanded the table? That's the region name and then some of the sales value. Because I'm expanding, but
Okay. See, you need to use your 2 fingers to pinch on your touchpad, or if it's not possible at your end, you can see my mouse. You can see. Do you see at the bottom? You can use that to zoom in and zoom out.
Yes, please. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you can use that to zoom in or zoom out. But now this is actually zoom. By default we are always on 100%. So let me make it 100%. And still the size is too small, right? It is too small. So we are going to adjust the total font size, font style, the color and everything afterwards. But for now, let's just try to understand what is happening in the background. So let me zoom in again. You can see by default the table has been activated, right? So what I'll do is I'll click on the diagram again, the table again. so that Power BI will understand I want to work on this particular table, and then I'll go to the visualizations and search for stacked bar chart. So I'll go to the bar chart and I'll click on the bar chart. Okay. So the moment I click on the bar chart, you can see the table has been converted to a bar chart. So we have stacked bar chart, clustered bar chart. Okay, for now we have only simple columns, like two columns, region name and sales volume. So that's why if you select clustered bar chart or stacked bar chart, there won't be any difference. The difference we'll try to understand it afterwards. Okay. So we can see how it has been converted. So what has happened right now? We still have 6 different rows: Great Manchester, Merseyside, South Yorkshire, Tyne-Wear, West Midlands, West Yorkshire. But now instead of figures, so let me go back to the table. Instead of the figures, Power BI has represented this particular figures in a bar, right? That's why it is called as a bar chart. Now to see the figure, like the value of that particular bar, I can just move my mouse on the bar, or I can, even I can click on it. So if I click on it and I move my mouse, you can see it has written there 932,353. That was the value in the table for a Great Manchester. So you can see it's the same thing, right? Then Merseyside, South Yorkshire. So you can see whenever you are going to do representations, you need to select what particular diagram or representation is right for the particular representation for your presentation. Is it a chart, maybe bar chart, pie chart? Let's go to a pie chart as well. You can see pie chart, it looks even better. You can go to donut chart if you want to make it look more professional, right? If you want to have a line chart, you can see even a line chart. Now line chart, it has no meaning for this particular data. So either it has to be a column chart, it has to be a bar chart, or a pie chart or sunburst chart. Okay, we can select any one of them. Okay, so this is how we are going to select diagrams. We will practice this afterwards. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that. I'll give enough time for you to practice. For now, you can just focus on how we are trying to understand the things. So I'll click on it again on the diagram and I'll activate the table. Okay, for now we want it to be a table. Okay. Okay, so this is what I mentioned: report page, then we have the data, and then we have the model. So you can read about the focus mode afterwards. It's very easy to understand. Okay. So we have came to one checkpoint now. We have reached at certain point. What we'll do is right now we'll save this particular file. Right? We are still working on it, so we'll save the file. Control S. Okay. I hope everyone is familiar with this. Okay. And then I'll save it at particular location first, and the name is going to be first visualization. You can see here, first visualization. Keep the same name. Okay. And then first visualization, and then I'll just write my name there, underscore Chaitanya. Okay. And then I'll save it. Because after a certain point we are going to collaborate with each other, so the name has to be unique. Okay, we are going to share our projects at certain portal on Power BI service.
Sorry,
Sure,
Chetanji,
sure.
sorry
Yeah.
to disturb.
No problem.
Just I want to know this one, how the Excel file. See, is it a simple Excel file on your desktop? Am I right?
Yeah.
That Excel file, how you are going to put in the Power BI? That what I want to see it once more. I forgot.
Okay, sure. No problem. Okay, let me start from the scratch, because this is not a difficult task. I'll close the Power BI itself without saving it. Okay, I'll close it, and then okay, this is the file what we have, right? Power BI data, and I'll open my Power BI. See, instead of searching Power BI, I have already added that to the taskbar. You can right click and you can click on pin to start or pin to taskbar. It's a very easy method. So I'll click on Power BI. So the question Mr. Manas asked was how to import the Excel file. Okay, so let me start from the scratch.
The Excel file, it is written Power BI data. How it has been written Power BI data, Power BI desktop data.
Yeah, how I imported it, right? Yeah, that's what I'm going to explain. So what I'll do is I'll create a blank report.